We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ Pháp hội khắp nhật thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo hạ môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư, ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Nan Tho Su Che Do Ye Ơ La Hơ Đi San Miao San Pu To Xie. Nam mô Ta Đạc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian, 万劫难遭遇我今，借闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Tutor, Great Master Xinhua, all good monks and nuns and all good knowing advisors of Meitofo. 诸佛菩萨、智者、大士、师父、上人，各位出家人，各位上智士，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa trí giả đại sư của Tượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sư Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 2nd of November 2024. We're here at Way Mountain to continue discussing the Vimalakirti Sutra. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity here to learn about the sutra with you. And we're using the sutra's explanation by Great Master Tutor, a very, very erudite, scholarly monk. He entered this samadhi of dharani of one revolution or something like that when he was reciting this sutra, the Lotus Sutra. And through that samadhi, he was able to attain limitless knowledge about the Buddha Dharma. This is really miraculous. So it's really indeed a great honor and great blessings to be able to study his wisdom. The sutra is very profound. There's no way we can understand it ourselves. So that's why the Buddha sent his great disciples, many his disciples, his bodhisattva disciples, to come here and help us understand these the depth of these sutras. All right. On slide 130, the text says, "They cultivated their minds by means of spirit, virtue, and wisdom."
功德智慧以修其心。
Okay. It refers to these bodhisattvas. And they came to attend the Buddha's sutra lectures This is what people with wisdom do. They have wisdom already. They're enlightened. Their level of wisdom are pretty high already. These actually, they're extremely wise, much wiser than you can ever fathom, can ever imagine. And yet, when the Buddha spoke sutras, they would come and with the retinues to listen. And the Buddha here describes what these bodhisattvas, these mahasattvas did. And these mahasattvas, they got there. They cultivated their minds, meaning that their current state of achievements are arrived at by means of merit and virtue. Okay? And Master Chucha, in his scholarly way, he says, merit and virtue is the accrual, that means cultivation, of adornments of the Dharma body. Okay? It's correct. Merit and virtue is actually, it tells you right here that your Dharma body is what? This entire universe. So how do you cultivate the Dharma body? By infinite merit and virtue. Meaning what? It's never enough. Many of my disciples who've been most generous with us, this is why we're able to not worry about money so much. He said, haven't I done enough for you? He said, no, I'm insatiable. The point being that when you create merit and virtue, it's never enough. Don't ever think you've done enough. Because you want to really adorn your Buddha body, the Dharma body, you have to keep on creating more and more and more and more and more. You don't think about it. All right? And that's how they also develop the wisdom. Okay? And so, Master Teacher says, the mind, you cultivate mind, your minds, and this is how your true mind is revealed. Okay? We all have a false mind. The false mind that in Buddhism means that your thinking mind. Your thinking mind is one component of your ego. You think, therefore, what is a proper expression? It's not like Pascal, I think, therefore I am. In Buddhism, I think, therefore I am confused. We complete it for you. Okay? Because you depend on your false mind. The false mind is very useful for you to relate to others who are just as confused as you are. But you cultivate in order to rise above your false mind and get to your true mind. That is where the wonders, the wonderful real you comes out through your true mind. So far, so good. Any questions? Yes, 6.
Hi, Master. Would you explain more about how they cultivate adornments of the Dharma body? For example, what they do?
Okay, they create merit and virtue. Every time you create a little bit of merit and virtue, actually it becomes an adornment of your Dharma body. Okay, and so this is what it really means, is that you don't realize when we teach you, encourage you to do merit and virtue, actually, ultimately, every single bit of merit and virtue you create, you actually are adorning yourself, your Dharma body. Okay? You're thinking, I do merit and virtue, therefore I benefit the triple jewel, I benefit the hospital, humanity, and so forth. Actually, it's a much bigger picture. You only see the shallow, you only see the small. And this master teacher says, let me tell you, boys and girls, every time you do M&V, merit and virtue, you are adorning your Dharma body. It's for yourself. Don't think you're taking a loss. Actually, you are adorning yourself. You're gaining. On the surface, it looks like you are losing your time, your money, your blood, and your sweat. No, you're adorning a Dharma body. Isn't that interesting? That's a big picture. You ought to know. And then we need to thank Master Teacher for that. All right? That's the role, that's a job of Mahasattva. They're supposed to remind us and give us the big picture. Okay? Sometimes we get lost in the forest. We don't know better. Okay? All right. So even when you do merit and virtue here, and also it's for the sake of developing your wisdom. Okay, where you now can use your true mind. If you have your true mind, there's nothing that you cannot do. There's nothing you don't know. Isn't that cool? Okay. 132. Adorned with exquisite hallmarks, their bodies were supreme, and they had renounced all worldly adornments.
相好延伸，色相第一，舍诸世间所有嗜好。
133. They are adorned with exquisite hallmarks. The hallmarks are the features, the characteristics of great men. Okay, and this morning, sometimes I sound really too mean, even though I really mean it. I really mean it. This morning, I really meant it when I talk about eyeliner bodhisattva. Eyeliner man. Eyeliner senator, okay? When you are a good person, when you are a great person, you are a virtuous person, you are a person of wisdom, you naturally have these features called hallmarks in Buddhism, okay? That's a sign of wisdom. It's just a sign of virtues, a sign of blessings. Whereas when you do evil things, you do stupid things, you end up with mascara in your eyes. Because nature says, you're weird. You're doing weird things. You're not supposed to have mascara. You're not supposed to have an orange face. It's funny how people are so blissfully ignorant about the manifestations of evil. You look odd, you look weird. Whereas if you do the right things, you have the hallmarks. That's the point. The Buddha, when you look at him when he was in the world, he is so handsome, he is so adorned, and you look at him and say, wow. Even bodhisattvas, I look at him and say, wow, I like to have that. Okay, I like to be like that. You know, whereas when you're a good person, you look at mascara man, you say, I don't be like that. If you're not a good person, you say, oh, I like you. And this is not an insult. It's just a reminder for you, look at your value systems, okay? Be careful. The bodies are supreme. So the bodies here meaning that their physical manifestations that we'll be talking about today, that reflects your virtuous conduct, reflects your blessings. So that's why you can't fake it. Okay? And had renounced all worldly adornments. So here's the point. When you cultivate, and let's say you choose to become a monk or a nun, okay? And then part of your training is for you to renounce your clothing, your nice clothes, your Armani suits, your Chanel dresses, your Strada 10,000 dress, okay? Amazing. One of my ex sister-in-law, a long time ago, to go to a party, she went to downtown Minneapolis and bought a Strada dress and spent like $5,000. And it's very nice. Okay? And that's what worldly people do. Whereas these people, wisdom who cultivate, they renounce worldly adornments, meaning they don't wear. Does mascara man have earrings? That's what I see. Every time I look at his eyes, I check his ears. I'm serious. It's automatic for me. Because I'm so fascinated. Wow, beautiful eyes. I love, for example, Indian people. They have the most beautiful eyes, that big pupils. Don't you think? They really have this. I look in their eyes, I'm captivated by the pupils. And that's why this guy here, really, every time I look at him in the news, I check the ears right away. And luckily for us, he's always talking like this. Okay, so you let go of the worldly adornments because it what? It inflates your ego. The worldly adornment only inflates your ego. Okay? And so that's why you first learn to let go of worldly adornment. So we're not allowed to wear rings, although I've been recently given a gold ring. I was so happy. Okay? I don't dare wear it because it looks bad for a monk to wear a gold ring, But I'm so happy because you know how expensive gold is nowadays? $2,700 per ounce. A long time ago, when there's a recession, I checked the price of gold. It was like $1,200. Now it's more than twice as much. Oh, times has changed. So when I got that ring there, I was so happy. I said, wow, finally I got something precious I can call my own. Because everything here is yours. I don't get to use it. Okay, so you let go of worldly adornments. Okay. And the funny thing is, after they became enlightened, they also renounce worldly adornments in order to achieve supreme wisdom. This is Master Tutor's wisdom. He said, all these bodhisattvas, they renounce it in order to achieve wisdom, supreme wisdom. Isn't that interesting? To me, it kind of tells you that when you seek to adorn yourself, that it's somewhere in your mind where you try to look more adorned, okay? And that is an impediment to your wisdom development. This is how I read it, okay? Well, I don't know. This is supreme wisdom. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of interesting, okay? Next. 134, the reputation were known far and wide, above and beyond even Mount Sumeru.
名称高远，喻于须弥。
Okay, 135. They're very well known, far and wide. So they're well known wherever they are, wherever they reside, wherever they dwell. They're known far and wide. Okay, meaning throughout the heavens and to the edge of the universe. This is real. Okay, and known refers to the reputation. And for our reference, the Buddha says above and beyond even Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru is the tallest mountain in our world. This is how the worlds are built, are architected. Okay, each world has in its center a mountain called Mount Sumeru, which is a shape of like this. Okay, so like inverted. So it's flares up at the top, and it's the tallest mountain in our world. Okay, and therefore there is this Mount Sumeru, which symbolizes your ego. I alone, I am the tallest, I'm the most important in the universe, in the world. Okay? So that's what Mount Sumeru is about. So each world is centered around your ego. And so the reputation is above and beyond Mount Sumeru. So it's their fame, their reputation is way taller than Mount Sumeru. Okay? 136, their profound faith was firm and solid like Vajra.
深信坚固，犹若金刚。
Okay, I'm curious to know more about profound faith. This morning we talked about faith as one of the most important roots. Number one is faith. Okay, with faith, you cultivate faith to the point where you have wisdom, then your faith becomes power, meaning that you're able to have the power to help others and create faith in others. Okay, so the profound faith. What is profound faith here as deep as the ocean. And we learn more about faith a little bit down here in this slide. So profound faith. So it refers to the ocean. It represents not just vast, okay, and the surface there is very vast, but it's very profound, very deep, that you can fathom its depth, okay, to the point where we need to send, the disastrous submarine that got crushed. Anyone remembers? No one is into deep sea exploration anymore? Remember, there is a Titanic study where this guy would create this submarine here. They would send you down, and it's made of fiberglass or whatever special materials, and they brought down the captain with himself, the founder of that company, and then 3 more or 4 more passengers, one of which is a billionaire. Okay, and the billionaire who's supposed to be smart is so stupid that would go into exploration without checking the safety of the vessel. So the vessel is poorly engineered. It's OBS. The guy's just a scammer. So they send it down to the depth, and the pressure is so high that they crushed the hull, and they all perished. Happened to the smarter and more successful people in the world. Okay, vanity projects. Anyway, so this faith is deep. The ocean symbolizes the the depth that cannot be fathomed. Okay, and so therefore the faith of these attendees of the Buddha's lecture, they are so deep that you just don't know how deep it is. The more deeper you get down, the more you realize there's a lot more faith than you think. As compared to us, your faith is based, it can be measured by how many times you come to the temple. Agree or disagree? Huh? Okay? He said, oh, I like you, I believe in Buddha, Dharma, and everything, but there's so much I can take. And so I come, you should feel lucky, I come and attend your lecture. Okay? And besides, when I come to the lecture, you give me a hard time. You embarrass me constantly. Yeah. That's a test of your faith. All right, your faith, the faith is firm and solid. Firm here and solid, that cannot be destroyed internally or externally. Firm here means that it cannot be moved. Okay, meaning that when the faith of these bodhisattvas in a triple jewel cannot be moved. No matter what happens, moving meaning when the wind blows at you, when criticism, when slander, is thrown at you. Even when a ghost whispers in your ears, okay, you will be unmoved. That's to be firm. So, and solid. Solid, that means that it cannot be tampered with, cannot be dented, cannot be broken. It's still solid. Okay? So internally, you are firm, and externally, you're solid. Or the other way around. Internally, you're solid. Externally, you're firm. Take your pick. Okay? Like Vajra. Vajra is a man-made substance. I know no one ever explained to you this way before. Especially the Chinese like to say Vajra, 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 Vajra Bodhisi, Vajra Sutra. But actually it's a man-made substance. How? Good question. I'm glad you asked. How do you make Vajra? Check YouTube. Don't you learn everything on YouTube nowadays? When I work out, I still check YouTube. Instead of subscribing to these silly subscription things where you have to pay like through your nose, okay, to buy these things, these programs, and they tell you weird things. You can check YouTube. Everything is free there. Just watch the commercials. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked recently, I'm pretty sure you can look up how to make Vajra on YouTube. Anyone found it? Can we please do a search on YouTube and see how do you manufacture Vajra, please? See, everyone checking. My God, you believe anything I tell you, huh? Something wrong with you. It's there, right? See, how do you produce Vajra? How do you mine Vajra? You're pulling my leg. Seriously? There's a video that says how do you manufacture Vajra? Okay. So, This Vajra here is a man-made thing. It can only be made by men and women, of course. Excuse me. Yeah. Don't look at me like that. You guys are so attached to words. And so it's a man-made substance, okay, that, but in Buddhism we use Vajra as an analogy because Vajra as a substance, it is indestructible. It's so durable. Nothing in this universe can destroy Vajra. That's why when you watch your YouTube video, in the end, you have to have a demonstration that the Vajra, the manufacturing, is actually indestructible. You can call things Vajra, but ultimately it has to pass a test of indestructibility. Yes, number 6, speak your mind.
Thank you, Master. We have an answer here from YouTube. Dean Tai says, a person creates Vajra by enduring difficulty.
I endure difficulty. Sounds too simple. If you can do that, then anyone can produce Vajra. Isn't that true? Not untrue. And that's the difference. In Buddhism, there's a certain procedure, a certain methodology for you to produce Vajra. Yes. All right? Only in Buddhism would you know how to produce Vajra, and that Vajra is indestructible. It's indestructible in the sense that for example, when we transmitted to you the hands and eyes, 42 hands and eyes, there are 42, when you recite the 42 hands and eyes, you actually are working on 42 different types of weapons, okay? And some of these weapons are Vajra weapons. For example, number 5, okay? That's, or number 4. Is it 4? The Vajra sword, Vajra, number 6, Vajra pestle, and my favorite, okay? And what's it, Vajra fist? Oh, the pestle, no, the fist of pestle, you hit like this. Honey, you don't hit like this. No, please don't use it wrong. Once you have the Vajra pestle, you don't go like this. You go like this, and you go like this. Okay, you go like this. Okay, if you're not sure, watch the kung fu movies. Okay, so anyway, so you have these weapons. They're called Vajra weapons. Why are they called Vajra weapons? Because when you recite these mantras, you actually are forging, if you will, these Vajra weapons. And once you succeeded, after you succeeded, they actually are weapons that you can use to crush the demonic armies. When you use this weapon against their own, your weapons are indestructible, whereas theirs will get damaged. So if you cross swords with them, your Vajra sword versus any other weapons that demons use, okay, their weapon will be damaged, will be crushed, will be broken, when yours is intact. And this is why they're scared of us, because of our Vajra weapons. Just like in the real world, the U.S. is very strong. It's considered to be a powerhouse because of our armed forces. We have a lot of weapons. Very, very powerful weapons. Okay? And so that's why when we practice, you have this particular spiritual practice, many practices in Buddhism, where you actually are forging Vajra. Is it clear? You have been doing it since I transmitted it to you at the Lu Mountain Temple. Okay? So that put you on a journey to start building and forging your Vajra weapons. And they are indestructible. I use them against the army, demon armies actually. They actually created a lot of destruction. They have nothing that can match against ours. It's so cool. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. I have a question about when we do the 42 hands and eyes and we're forging our weapons or whatever mantra we're saying.
Yeah.
And we're storing them inside ourselves.
Yeah.
So are we collecting all of those?
Yeah, your body's becoming Vajra too.
I mean, all of those since way back, we just keep doing it and they don't dissipate or vanish or something.
No, they actually accrue in your body, so that's why you gain weight.
Well, that's a good excuse.
If you do it right, you're supposed to gain weight. So it's normal for you to get heavier. Thank you. Feel better? Okay. Okay? Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. All right. So, but it makes me wonder, though, Master Hsuan, by the time I met him, finally in person, he was skin and bones. But let me tell you, he's very heavy. Because I remember, I'm pretty sure he's very heavy. I remember a first stage Arhat monk that I was an attendant at the City 10,000 Buddhas, I was the assistant to the attendant of him. I was not good enough to be an attendant, okay? Let's set things straight. And he's like 108 years old at the time, and he could hardly move, so he had to use wheelchairs and stuff. And so every time he went to the bathroom, we had to lift him up from his bed into the wheelchair and push him into the bathroom, right? And so that attendant could not lift him, so I had to be there to assist him in those times. And so first time I tried it, he was heavy as a block of stone. And he's skinny there. He's very, very skinny. It's very, very interesting. Okay, so you see that he was showing off. He's not supposed to be that heavy because it's back-breaking, let me tell you. The first time I tried it, my back hurt immediately. It was so heavy, and I was not lifting properly. I was lifting in the wrong posture, so it squeezed your vertebrae right away. It's very dangerous. You're supposed to use your legs, you know. Now that I exercise, I think I know how to do it better. Okay. So anyway, and so these Vajra tools are created by you. You see. Is that clear? That you are the creator of Vajra. All right. And also, Vajra, the other analogy is sharp penetratingly to original source. Okay? And so think of it as mining where you vajra, when you cultivate, you mind back all the way back through your confusion, through your ickiness, back to your true nature. Okay, your original nature. Okay, and vajra also is an analogy to two faiths. Meaning that when you have faith, why is faith important? And I can't stress enough the importance of faith. Like we talked about this morning, the 5 roots. The number 1 root and the most important root is faith. And why is faith important? Because faith is important because afflictions and birth and death cannot destroy faith. Meaning that if you have true faith, okay, your faith should be sound enough, profound enough, that when you're afflicted, your faith cannot be affected. Or even in true birth and death, your faith cannot diminish. That's the kind of faith we're talking about. No matter what, your faith will not diminish or can be destroyed. So how does it happen? Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. Samson Lau has a question. Amitabha Master, thank you for explaining the Vajra weapons. When we practice the 42 hands and eyes, how do we know when our weapons have been forged and are usable and we can use them?
Oh, it's very easy. Good question. I love it when you ask good questions. So let's say that you do number, what weapon you want to use, huh? Apple. Apple, dear. Number 5. Number 5, that, that Vajra thing. Okay? Yeah, Vajra thing that the Tibetan would like to, one of the tools Tibetan use, right? Okay, so let's say you want to use number 5, okay, number 5, you hold it, okay, and a demon comes to you with a sword, with the demon's sword, and you go, ding, you cross, you use it against their sword, and yours breaks and theirs don't. Then you know yours is not Vajra yet. And you say, oops, just a minute, I'll be right back, and run. Yes, 6. Oh, it happened to you before?
No. I never used it before, but if that happens, oops, just a minute. Master!
And Master happened to be on vacation. Or, for example, what's the shield? What number is that?
The shield.
16? 15, thank you. See, this one, I like you. You have good memory. Number 15, that's a shield. Okay? And let me tell you a funny story. I went to Vietnam temple a long time ago. This is when I was cultivating. At the time, I was, I believe, what level was I? I can't tell you, never mind. At the time, I went to Vietnam temple, okay? And I was walking down the hallway towards the Buddha hall, where they were doing a 49-day service for one of their followers. And so I basically was cultivating on my own, okay, and didn't know anything. I didn't know, and I was told, oh, you should go and pay respect to this person because he's helpful. They say, okay, I agree. So I went to the Vietnam temple. They have a room they called Tro Room, Phong Tro. Phong Tro, you know exactly what I'm talking. Phong Tro meaning the room of ash. Room ash. Phong Tro meaning the room where you put the ashes of the people who've been incinerated. What do they call it? Cremated. Thank you very much. Okay, so the cremated people in Buddhism were the Vietnam disciples, and then they put it in this room here at the temple. So you walk in there are urns of ashes everywhere. Okay, so little did I know at the time it's full of ghosts. Yeah, because when you have ash there, okay, and the person went to the ghost realm, guess where that ghost lives? In the ashes. So the Vietnam temples, hey people, or even Chinese temples, or any temple, stay away from the ash rooms. Okay, they're extremely dangerous because you go there, the ghosts there jump on you and go back and to play with your children. Malaya. Okay. Okay, so be careful. Stay away from these places. It's not safe. Okay. And so anyway, I went to the room, but at the time, for some reason, no ghost got on me. Okay, so I walked down, okay, and across the Buddha hall there's a Vietnam monk crossing my path. Okay, and you know, at the time it was stupid. I was meditating, so I walk around like, in samadhi, so unmoving, walking like floating on clouds. You know, I said, I wore my yellow robe. Okay, real yellow robe. This is cheap robe. The other one's nicer. I only have one or two. That's why I remember them all. Yellow robe and a sash, walking down, you know, two hands like this, walking very like the way I teach my disciples. You walk as like a breeze. And when you do that in a Vietnam temple, then none of them walks like that. So you draw a lot of attentions. And I was wearing a yellow robe, okay, and a sash, a brown sash like this, okay. And so I drew a lot of attentions. I walk in there and walk around a little bit, and went to the ash room and so forth. So on my way back out, I went across the Buddha hall, the hallway there. As there was a Vietnam monk going the opposite direction. Okay, as we are by the other side, there's a door that goes into the Buddha hall here, where he's going to join the ceremony. Okay. He's a resident there. You know what he did? This guy's probably a Taoist, because Vietnam monks don't have this kind of tool. He used his Taoist skills to try to hit my temple right here. That's what happens when you draw attention to yourself. Because I stood out. You see, I'm walking. Like Master Hsuan at the time, I was very, very stupid. Because Master Hsuan, we taught to, close our eyes and, be mindful and, and concentrate and walk in the 4 compartments, carry yourself properly and so forth. I was very, very stupid. I showed myself. I showed off. I said, this is my chance to show I can do this while being in public. So I followed, the blueprint of Master Hsuan's comportment. And of course, that drew attention. So the guy went by, and he used his spiritual skills to hit me right at the temple, right as we cross. Okay? It's like from here to there. And before he just turned, he used his spiritual power to attack me at my temple, right here. And of course, there's no advance warning. It's not like he looked at me, who are you? No, he didn't say anything. He just glanced at me a few times, and then he walked by, and then before he turned into the Buddha hall, he hit me at with his skills at my temple. So, I'm still here. Why are you an asshole? And so, the funny thing, let me tell you the funny thing, is only at those times then you realize what you have. Immediately without thinking, there's no advance warning, let me tell you. So instantaneously, over here, I went like this because I watch a lot of Spartan movies. The Gladiator is my idol. Not Kung Fu, it's Gladiators. Kung Fu is for fun. Gladiator is real macho man. Okay, so when I was younger, I was kind of believe in macho man and exterminator and that kind of thing, Terminator and that kind of thing. So as soon as the fist came, okay, I immediately, without thinking, went like this. At the same time, let me tell you the funny thing. At the same time, instead of using my Vajra shield, it's Vajra, a girl, okay? Instead of using Vajra shield, okay, because I knew he could not harm me. He could not go to the Vajra. So I used my metal shield. The shield has many, many different types. My shield, at least, not yours. So it's so fun. Let me tell you. Oh, they're all falling asleep. Sorry. Okay. And so, let's see. Chung Yi's name is sleepy. So I chose. It's funny because instantaneously I knew he's attacking me when he gave rise to the thought of harming me. Okay, and go like this. In his spiritual skills, I immediately went like this, okay? And immediately at the same time I said, I'm not going to use my Vajra shield because you don't deserve it. I'm going to use my bronze shield from the Spartacus era. So I went like this and bong! Because the Vajra has no sound. That's why when you go like this, and bong, and the guy ran away. Nasty Vietnam monk. You don't do that. You learn skills to hurt another monk. That sucks. Okay? I never came back to the temple ever. You attack me, I never go back. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. Final question Samson has is it important to learn how to use the weapons?
No, don't worry about it. Just learn for yourself. And when eventually the need arises, you see. Just because I never thought I'd be using the thing. That thing to me only reminds me of the Romans and the gladiators. To me, that's my fun. You know, every time I recited that, I say, mi gladiator. But I never thought I would be using it. It's fascinating. It's just you wouldn't know when you're gonna use it. Just practice. Don't worry about it. Yes, 7.
Master, were you surprised, or did your wisdom tell you to expect that?
No, it's just self-defense. My only mode is that you ain't gonna hurt me. You can't hurt me. And I was trying to impress him because I chose. Let me tell you how fast it was. First of all, no advance warning. He may look at it, I look at him and say he disapproved of me. I knew that already. But he never gave the signal he's going to attack me or harm me at all. Until the last minute, he decided to hit me. Try to harm me. Okay? And not anywhere. My temple, meaning it's lethal. If he hit me right here, I probably would die. Okay? And so at that last moment, okay, he said, walking down, he said, this guy looks through a door and I don't like him. You can sense it already. But he never let out the intention he's going to hit me. It's called an ambush, surprise attack. Okay? So last minute, okay, last second, he attacked me, and immediately at that moment there, my shield came up, and I chose metal shield, bong, for fun, without thinking, bong. Okay? And it's funny that I chose metal just to make a lot of noise. You can't hear it, but the invisible world can hear it. Bong! Because there's lots of ghosts in the temple. Okay? Yeah. And so it's instantaneous. Yeah. All that processing there, the last second, they would choose to harm you, and then immediately, instantaneously came up, and instantaneous, I showed off. I say, "You nasty little runt." Okay, and let me be splashy by making a noise, bong. Cultivation can be fun sometimes, folks. It's not always dry and cut and dry and boring like the Chinese would like to do it. Yes, 9.
Master, that is a movie on 36th Chamber of Shaolin. The master,
I've seen it several times.
He knocked down the monk that tried to join the temple. He was in the middle, and then he used a spiritual thing to knock him down on the floor.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that.
Yeah. Of course. You can learn Tai Chi too. Tai Chi can do that. There's a Tai Chi grandmaster I saw on PBS where he's like 80 years old. And I know you girls are probably bored to death listening to this, but this is kind of a fun kung fu things. And there's he teaches the Chinese people Tai Chi. And there's I believe, Brazilian young man who wanted to learn Tai Chi. Okay, I want to learn Tai Chi from him. So the master says, let me show you what Tai Chi can do. Okay, and that's this. So he has a Chinese disciple. Okay, and he says, you stand behind my Chinese disciple. And then the old Tai Chi master, okay, hits his Chinese disciple. The Chinese disciple didn't move at all, but the Brazilian new student would be shaking like this. So that's in Vietnam, it's called Cắt Sơn Đả Ngưu. You mean you hit the buffalo through the mountain. So the buffalo is behind the mountain. You can hit the buffalo through the mountain on this side. Daniel, look at Daniel's face. You say, wow, these Asians, these yellow Asians are so impressive. Look at him. And so I saw it's captured on TV, mind you, PBS. So the old Chinese Tai Chi master, he says, this is what my Kung Fu can do. This is what you advance enough, you can learn this. But Master Hsuan, he can do that without even moving his arm. You see, the Chinese master has to go like this, right? Because he has to use his skills to do like this. Master Hsuan would be able to do that without even moving. And he can do it to South Carolina. When South Carolina is at the end of the hall, he still can do it. Doesn't have to be that close. Okay? That's Chinese Kung Fu for you. Look now. Look, Daniel now is green with envy. Look at his face. It's becoming green. Yes, go ahead, 6.
June has a question.
Yeah.
Master, when you used your shield weapon, did you recite the mantra with it as well?
No time to recite mantras. Boom! Okay, good question. Who has time to recite? It's too fast. It's like it's an ambush. It's a sneak attack. It's a nasty little Vietnam monk. I hope he dies and go to hell. Yes, DTT.
Master, if someone attack us with real knife and stuff, will 42 hands and eyes be helpful? I was actually thinking about this morning because I was thinking.
I opened a new can of worms. Now this woman here, as soon as a husband displeases her, she'll take out number 4. And wouldn't you like to do that? Look at her. Look, see how happy she looks. The evil eye. Look at the evil look. Look so happy. Please don't use it on your husband.
Not against my husband, though.
No, these things I teach you for you to learn to practice first. Don't use them. That's my instructions, okay? When you're ready, I tell you, I allow you to use them. Because right now you use them prematurely, you find out that maybe they break. Like when you use a shield, actually the shield's made of glass. Okay? All right, so just use them. One day you see, okay? This is what we're talking about, is that these tools here, once I transmitted you the 42 hands and eyes, lifetime after lifetime, you'll be able to receive transmission again. Okay? And unlike, what's that? What's in Go Force? Is that guy back? The guy that I embarrassed yesterday, Jung? Oh, he's there. Okay.
Oh, I was doing this.
Next to Jung. Yeah. Jung, don't listen to Jung. He's bitter. But yes, go ahead, Jung.
Master, I want to answer the previous question about the knife. As somebody who practices, has studied 4 different martial arts, there is no defense to a knife. Run away. That is your only defense.
That's what I do too. I run first. I don't trust my 42 hands and eyes. I use it only because my last resort is too late to run. You see, it's a matter of split second. If I didn't do anything, I could have been injured. So naturally, immediately my self-defense went up, okay? But you're right. My first reaction would be to run away. I have never dared go back to that Vietnam temple again because I'm afraid to be attacked again. Seriously. Don't ever be arrogant because you may have the weapon there, but suppose you fumble, you try to take it out, because it's a big shield, And sometimes you're not in a good frame of mind. So that's why you're right, Jung, thank you. You practice martial arts, you know better. You should run away. It's no point, okay? It's no glory in winning a fight because you go to jail when you hurt them, okay? And if you don't hurt them, you get hurt. It's not worth it. And don't blame the 42 hands and eyes. Anyone else? It's just fun. You guys, you'll see. You find out for yourself. Yes, JC. Jungin Sunim, you have any questions? Yes, Wang Ho.
예, 마스터 감사합니다. 질문 여쭙겠습니다. 42수한 그 얘기가 나와서 말인데 저 같은 경우에는 그 42수한 그 4번부터 7번까지를 제가 이제 극심한 번뇌가 될 때 가령 뭐 화가 많이 난다거나 매닉 에너지가 느껴진다거나 아니면 뭐 디프레션 에너지, 뭐 두려움이 느껴질 때 4번부터 7번까지를 제 어떤 번뇌의 불을 끄기 위해서 종종 하곤 합니다. 그래서 이렇게 그 어떤 뭐 외부의 어떤 그런 뭐 만화 이런 거를 떠나서 제 안에 번뇌의 불을 끄기 위해서 종종 하는 편인데 4번부터 7번까지를 그게 올바른 관법인지 올바른 행법인지 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
Master, I practice from number 4 to 7 in 42 hands and eyes. When I have a severe affliction, such as anger, manic depression, fear, to get rid of my affliction, I recite from 4 to 7. Am I doing right?
Okay, very good. One more time.
I practice, I recite number 4 from number 4 to 7 in 42 hands and eyes.
Only number 4 through 7?
Yes.
I gave you 42. You only practice 3 of 4.
지금 밖에 긴급하게 하기 위해서 재빠르게 이제 하기 위해서 짧은 시간에 하기 위해서 그렇게 합니다. 짧은 시간에는 이제 갑자기 이런 번뇌가 들어왔을 때.
When I have a severe affliction, to get rid of the affliction for a short time, I recite only 4 to 7.
4 through 7. 4 is okay, I got it. And?
So when I have a severe affliction, such as anger, manic depression, fear, I recite those things to get rid of the affliction. Am I right? Am I doing right?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Okay? It doesn't hurt. You try that and it still doesn't work. Try it. Okay? You try. You cycle through. Okay? You have a lot of tools. The fun part, when I told you not to use it, meaning to use it for others or for yourself. If you're afflicted, you can use any of them to experiment. Okay? Most of the time it would work. Yeah. All right, anyone else? Yeah. It's fun, folks. These tools are quite fun. This is why I said when you receive transmission, you practice these things. Please don't use them for others. But when you're under attack, when you are dealing with your affliction and so forth, that's a form of attack. Then you feel free to use them to experiment with them. Okay? If they come and attack you, you're free to defend yourself. But don't do it for others. Okay? Keep that in mind, please. Yes, JMT.
마스터 들리세요? 저도 42수안에 대한 질문이 있는데 마스터, 제가 42수안을 전체를 다 하는 게 좀 시간 낭비라고 느껴질 때가 좀 종종 있어요. 네.
I have a question of 42 hands and eyes. Sometimes I think it's a waste of time to recite the whole 42 hands and eyes.
예를 들어서 22번, 23번, 24번, 25번은 제가 원하는 바도 아니고 그래서 건너뛰고, 그러니까 다시 할게요. 그러니까 새벽예불 할 때 좀 불필요하다고 생각하는 거를 빼고 하거든요. 그러니까 예를 들면 22번, 23번, 24번, 25번이 제가 원하는 바가 아니라서 빼고 수행을 하고 있는데 제가 잘못하고 있는 건지, 제가 좀 전에 마스터께서 광호 씨가 42개를 다 줬는데 몇 개만 하냐라고 하셔서 제가 질문 드립니다.
For example, in the morning ceremony, I think some hands and eyes, I think it's not necessary. For example, 22, 23, 24, 25, that's not it's not what I want, so I skip them. So I just want curious, am I doing wrong?
Yes, you're doing wrong.
그러니까 마스터 제가 어떻게 하고 있냐면 좀 중요하다고 생각하는 거 예를 들면 1번, 4번, 5번, 6번, 7번, 뭐 18번 그렇게 하는데 22번부터 24, 25번까지는 제가 뭐 신선한 돌을 얻는다든지 범천에 태어나고 싶은 마음이 없어서 스킵하는데 그 잘못한 건 전체를 다 해야 된다는 말씀이신 건가요? 시간이 없는데.
So, for example, number 1, 4, 5, 7, 18, I think they are important, so I do that. But from 22 to 25, I don't want to born in the heaven, so I don't do it. So you mean that I should recite the whole thing?
Well, you don't want to be born to the heaven. Would you like to go to the heaven and look at the heavenly boys? I'm told that the heavenly men are really, really gorgeous.
그래서 근데 제 기준이 외모가 아니어서 괜찮을 것 같아요.
Now she's convinced she should go to the heavens.
다시 할게요.
No, you shouldn't pick and choose. What you should think is that, yes, at first I also thought the same way you did, that we don't have a lot of time, so these things I don't think I use them, they're useful. But, like even if you don't go to the heavens, maybe in the future, you might say, my mother-in-law is in the heavens. Let me go say hello to her and encourage her and talk to her, encourage her to cultivate. Okay? So all these 42 hands and eyes dharmas are not only useful to you for various reasons. There will come a time where you probably find them useful, but let me tell you, what is much more important, if I tell you this, then you probably won't believe me. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Just because you believe or not doesn't matter to me. These 42 hands and eyes, when you practice them, you're going to reach all the bodhisattva positions. So these, every time you recite them, you're actually planting the seeds for you to become the bodhisattvas. It's priceless, let me tell you. The people out there, they only look at them as, oh, this one makes money, this one has a weapon, I can use them and so forth. No, the real treasure is that you recite one hand, this corresponds to a bodhisattva position. And it has a lot more than we're telling you. Okay, for you, I tell you a funny story because I tell the shield is nothing. If you think I'm going to recite this number, whatever, 15 here to get a shield, I mean, that's not very useful. I'd rather, like Jung says, let me hire a bodyguard or something is better. Okay, it's much more impressive to have a bodyguard walking around pushing people, get out of the way, Master is coming. Wouldn't you like that? I'd love that. Why do I need to use shield? Shield is so, yeah. Okay, and so it's not the weapons. The weapons are one of the tools we use for our work. Okay, so that's what, in the long run, your 42 tools will be very, very, very useful for your work. But before that, they are the means for you to reach that world called Bodhisattva world, those positions. You reach those positions. Okay? And there's a lot more I'm not telling you unless you pay me. It's funny, one of Master Shenhua's disciples, ex-disciples, whatever, he transmitted the hands and eyes illegally. That's what a lot of people do because the Buddhist disciples are enamored with it. They said, oh, these hands, number one, makes money, therefore, how much? Okay? If it helps me become richer, it's worth it for me. So just tell me how much, all right? And so it turns out the Vietnam people are very tough to make money off them. So this guy here, what he does is that he transmits them the hands and eyes, okay? And since if you say, like the non-Buddhist things, they say, I transmit you these mantras, and I give you me $3,000, I will transmit you a set of mantras. It happened to a Buddhist disciples when I was there, of Master Shenhua. The mother saw this Chinese externalist, famous one, who says, I can transmit to your son a set of mantras. We are really superior mantras. You can make money, become famous, and so forth, okay? And pay me $3,000. I would transmit them to you. And she did. She paid that person $3,000 so that her son gets those things, okay? Well, Vietnam people, they don't do that, okay? They're not willing to pay $3,000. She said, how much? Actually, when I say $5, she said, no way. So what this guy does is that he transmits to them for free. But if you want the details, there's a one-page instruction on how to do it, okay, in Vietnam language, okay, and it costs you $5. And you take $5, multiply by 1,000 people, that's 5,000. Multiply by, he has a lot of disciples. You multiply by 10,000, that's $50,000. Transmit to 6, it's $300,000. They find ways to monetize. I haven't figured out how to do these things yet. Maybe Diego would help me out. Diego is a businessman. He's very good at those things. Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. But how about for commission? you give the money and
see,
whatever.
That's Diego for you. 10%. 90% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Yes, Daniel Carrasco.
I'm just wondering.
Is Carrasco a real last name or is this a new?
That's my last name.
Oh. Okay.
I was wondering, why would the people pay that if you could just have ChatGPT or Google to search for it, and you just save yourself what $3,000?
You need transmission about these things. What happened to these 42 hands and eyes is that without protection from us, you cannot practice them. You will not be able to accomplish your practice. So we have to send Dharma protectors to protect you. So it's not worthwhile for you to steal it from the internet. It doesn't work. That's why I don't care. I transmit to you, and you think that's why it's so casual for you. You say, oh, Master, give it to me, so it must be nothing. Actually, without our protection, every time it's transmitted to someone, you are assigned some protection so that you can practice. So if you steal it, okay, you will not be able to practice successfully. Yeah, you can recite, but it's like 1,000th the effect of someone who has the proper training, the proper health. But it doesn't stop a lot of people. They still steal off the internet and stuff. Okay, I have a bunch of questions here. It seems like you are only interested in gossiping. Okay, but I'm in a good mood today. Yes, JC. I have 3 outstanding questions.
안녕하세요. 이번에 선칠 기간에 미국에 방문하려고 계획하고 있는데요. 제가 궁금한 것은 제가 10일 정도는 수행에 집중할 수 있는 기간이 되는데 계획은 둘째 아이는 부모님께 맡기고 제가 가는 것이었는데 혹시 둘째 아이를 데리고 가는 것이 더 나은지 무엇이 더 중요한지 질문 드립니다. 만약에 둘째 아이가 데리고 가면은 제가 둘째 아이 돌보고 디즈니랜드도 가야 될 것 같고 좀 수행 시간을 뺏길 것 같은 면이 있기도 하고요. 네, 어떤 것이 더 좋을지 질문 드립니다.
Master, this Chanchi, I'm planning to go to USA, and then my plan is to practice for 10 days. But original plan was I have a second child, and then my parents are supposed to take care of him. But I'm thinking about bringing my second child with me. Then if he goes with me, I have to take care of him, maybe go to Disneyland, and then I cannot practice my practice. So which one do you think better?
Take the child. Favor taking children with me. Okay, it's not fair because I don't have any children. That's why I have no appreciation how tough it is, how difficult it is. But it's okay. Take care of your children. There's a chance for them to, you can bring them to the U.S., will be very helpful for your children. Okay? When you practice, you should accord with conditions. Don't be so rigid. I need to give up everything, No. It's not necessary. You try your best. And if you do it right, it still works. Okay? Because ultimately, our cultivation is based on kindness and compassion. And you have to show kindness and compassion to your own children first. Okay? You do that, okay? Then it's okay. All right, next question. JMT.
맞서 42수안에 대한 마지막 질문인데 제가 2021년도 위산사에서 42수안에 대해서 배울 때는 마지막 번호인 42번이 42수안 1번부터 41번까지를 한꺼번에 포함하고 있는 것이 42번이라고 배웠었어요. 네.
This question is about the 42 hands and eyes. When I first learned 42 hands and eyes, the last hand, 42 hand, it includes from first to 41. So
제가 이제 그걸 그렇게 기억하고 있는데 그게 정확한 기억인지를 먼저 여쭙고 싶고요.
That's what I remember. Is it right?
I think so.
그러니까 저 같은 경우는 시간 낭비를 하기가 싫으니까 중요하다고 생각나는 번호를 셀렉해서 하고 마지막 42번을 제가 42번만 5번을 하거든요. 그러면은 제가 좀 이렇게 스킵했던 뭐 범천, 뭐 신선의 도 이런 것도 결국엔 아예 안 하는 건 아니니까 잘못하고 있는 건 아니지 않을까 여쭤봅니다.
So I don't want to waste my time. So I recite the last hands 5 times. So even if I skip some hands, that means I'm not skipping hand. Is it right?
It sounds right. One more time. Just in case. Anyway, don't worry so much. Just practice. Don't pick and choose so much. You're so discriminating. Okay, just be grateful that you're given this treasure that is priceless. Let me assure you, you don't want to miss out on any of them because you don't know how beneficial they really are. Okay, each and every one of them, I assure you, there's no need to pick and choose at all. And one day, when the time comes, you'll be given further instructions. Okay? Yeah. All right, I have one more question here. You no more? You dropped it? Yes, 9.
I wanted to share, sometimes I didn't feel like getting out of bed, and then I've recited number 4 and 5, and then I was able to just jump out of bed and like, hey, I'm going to take on the day today.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Naturally, you just recite these every day, and then naturally one day you say, okay, now it's time for me to use this. Okay. My first experience before the shield was that a nest of bees came to the backyard, and instinctively I used one of the hands and eyes to chase them away. Okay, so just practice them. Eventually, you see naturally you know which one. Okay, don't worry about it. Just be grateful. You're given this treasure that's yours. No one can take it from you, except me. So be nice. Don't forget who the boss. Okay. Finally, can I take a few more minutes to finish his slide here? So I don't want to come back to faith. When you talk about faith, there are 2 kinds of faith. That's very important for you to understand. Faithful understanding, meaning that when you have faithful understanding, means that when you hear the Buddha Dharma, the principles contained in the Buddha Dharma, you have no doubt whatsoever. Okay? That's the kind of faith you want. That's a real treasure for you. When you hear the proper teaching, the proper principles, you say, that makes sense to me. That shows that you have tremendous blessings. This is critical for your cultivation. Another equally important of faith is called deep faith. Deep faith is what? Deep faith is that the first one is believe in the Buddha Dharma. Second is you believe in your good knowing advisor. When this person tells you, give you instructions, don't be like, Jumi. He says, I don't like number 22 to number 25. Okay? That only shows that she has insufficient faith in a good knowing advisor. Be careful, okay? So the good knowing advisor is that this deep faith here is a faith in your teacher. Okay, not just any teacher. That teacher that the teacher that who trains you, who teaches you, because you really don't have any clues as to why he's doing things. Case in point, we talk about 42 hands and eyes. You don't know why it's transmitted to you, and we reveal it to you a little bit more each time to reduce your greed. Okay, we tell you everything, then you have to pay for it. When we tell you gradually, then it's no big deal. That's why it's, what's a big deal? Okay? Yeah. All right? So that's why faith is critical in cultivation. Stop here today. Thank you, everyone.